Knowing when to let something live and when to let something die has been a decision that has really, or more of a discernment that I've only found in my last probably 2 years. And really, when you think about letting something live and letting something die, you're really talking about a life and death cycle. And it's kind of that radical acceptance of that everything that exists now doesn't have to stay the same forever. It's okay to kill something off and to kill your darlings, as I think a famous book says that I read once. Is that like even if you enjoyed something at a certain time in your life, it's okay to let it die because something beautiful will come back in that absence, and possibly even greater, most of the times even greater, will come out of the death of something. But I want to be more specific here because you could be thinking, what the fuck does that even mean? But I think it could be like, maybe you've dressed a certain way your whole life and you're ready for a change. Maybe you've really started to outgrow your friend group and you're like, you know what, I just feel like I've grown past what this space holds for me. I have outgrown certain social engagements. I was part of a Toastmasters group for about 1.5 years, and I just kind of got to the point where I was like, I think I got everything that I wanted out of this for now, and I'm kind of ready to cut ties and move on to the next thing. It can even be beliefs. It could even be, how you feel about a certain way of living. Maybe you grew up thinking like that type of person is bad. And then as you grow up, you say, oh, actually, I've met that person and it's really contradicted my beliefs on certain things. And I'm willing to change that thought and accept that group of people that I previously, maybe wouldn't have associated with. It could be like how you feel about money. It could be maybe you switch political parties. Does anyone do that anymore? Probably not. But really what I'm talking about is like this life-death life cycle. And I think of it as kind of like an up and down cycle. The other thing is that allowing something to die off isn't necessarily a bad thing. We always think about, we're always trying to strive to keep things alive or to keep a relationship alive or a friendship alive. But knowing and recognizing deep within yourself that it's okay to end something, because that's not a bad thing. It's just like, okay, I'm ready to move on. Okay, I feel fine about it. It's just, its time is over and I'm ready to kill it. And something that I killed recently was my online business. And I did a video similar to this one about it. And it was the first time I'd spoken out loud about wanting to kill my business and basically burn it to the ground, which I have done in the subsequent week, as kind of like loosening its grip on my life and cancelling subscriptions and finalizing taxes and finances and all that. And when I did the video, it was just a raw, super honest explanation of how I was feeling. And I have been putting these videos out as art. I didn't expect anything of it. I was just like, I'm just going to put it out there, whatever, next day, move on. And I had so many people reaching out to me. Like, my phone blew up overnight with beautiful friends, colleagues saying, is everything okay? What's going on? I saw that you're blah, blah, blah. And just a lot of people concerned. And I just, again, was like, oh, I didn't see that as a bad thing. Like, initially I did, but now I'm so confident in that decision and so comfortable that it was just, now I look with 2020 vision and say like, no, it needed to happen. It needed to happen. And that's when you are ready to like burn something to the ground and give it death, it's like, yeah, because probably maybe like on a psychic level, on an intuitive level, it just wasn't the fit anymore. And I don't see that as a bad thing. I'm actually very happy with it. And to take this further, I want to say in the space between making that decision and probably the past week is that I have been like, oh, cool, like let me, disentangle myself from this entity. And it's given me space like I've never known. Space like I've never known. I have slept amazing. I have rested in my days. I feel like my adrenals are like back to normal. I used to think that I had baggy eyes and that's just how my eyes were. Okay, can we, like, as women, acknowledge the fucking insane, all-encompassing just stress that we live with all of the time? And I just was like, this is just my body now, I guess. I'm 34. This is just my body. Am I? No, I'm 33. And I just thought I had like dark, baggy eyes. I'm an adult. This is just how I am. I'm not going to get it. No amount of sleep seemed to make them go away. But now I feel so deeply rested and nourished. And another step, I deleted social media apps off my phone. I've never done that. I kept YouTube because I like to reply to comments. And I've never deleted social from my phone, but it has literally given me back probably at least 90 minutes a day, maybe more of space where I have been reading physical books. I have been meditating, sleeping in, napping, deeply resting, okay? Deeply resting. I've been going for more walks, and that's what I have done in the space of the death of my business. And it's creating that space to rest, but also to create, but slowly, because I'm intentionally being still. I'm intentionally, I do have business ideas. They come up probably once a day or every couple of days. And I'm like, no, I don't, that's not what I'm doing right now. So it's like a conscious decision to be still, just be, just rest, just nourish. And also do that for my family too. And that has been a real struggle because I do go into these spirals of like, I should be doing more. I should be on to the next business. I should have a business plan written. And that's my ego mind. So I'm checking myself constantly. I'm gotten better at it. I feel like I'm in a flow now of constantly checking myself to be like, no, rest, rest, rest. And that is starting to give life to like a new version of who I want to be, what my identity is going to be now without the business. And the biggest metaphor I have for this in my life right now is we have a lemon tree. It's like a mini lemon bush, and it's a miniature version of a lemon tree. So it's in a pot plant outside. It has been for years. It was gifted by my mum, I think 3 years ago. And this tree is very stunted. It really hasn't grown at all. It's had some blossoms, but it's still like basically the same size as when we got it. My brother got the same tree at the same time, and his is like flourishing and having lemons. It's fruited, right? But our tree never got there, and I never really understood. I didn't give it a ton of time and attention to worry about why this tree wasn't thriving. But about 2 weeks ago, I just, was outside again, like, wow, our tree's still looking pretty shit. And all of its leaves has turned yellow, and it's had ants on and off. But I just was like, just thought maybe I'll just weed it. Like, they had weeds all over it. So I started to weed the bush. It took 30 seconds. It was very quick. And I was like, I don't know, see what happens. I dumped a ton of water on it, and I was thinking, okay, like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then it's definitely dead. Like I was so ready for this plant to be dead, let me tell you. And just this morning, actually, I went out to water it and fertilize it. And I noticed that it had 2 flower buds and so many green new leaves, new foliage coming onto that little tree. And even the yellow leaves are starting to green again. And I can't say how it happened. Was it the water? Was it the weeding? But this has really just been a metaphor for like what happens when you're ready to be like cut and done. But it has come back, and I'm really excited. I am like gonna have lemons by Christmas. I'm so excited for this plant right now. And that tree is just really a huge metaphor for me for this life death life cycle. If you're watching this and you're like, you know, if anything came up for you as I was saying that, like, it's probably time to kill it off. It's probably time to kill off those jeans that are too small, that don't fit, and you fucking hate putting them on. Take them to charity. Donate them. Clean out the closet, like metaphorically and literally clean out your closet. See what comes in that vacuum, like what new life you can bring when you kill that shit off. So phenomenal. I was going to sleep last night, and I think a lot about like the subconscious mind and what happens when we're sleeping. For about 2 years of my life, I kept a dream journal, and I would wake up in the morning and document my dreams in the most vivid, specific detail that I could. And I found that over the course of those 2 years that, okay, so a couple things. The quicker you document your dreams or you think about them when you wake up, the more detail will kind of start to fill in to the dream. You might wake up with like maybe a couple details, but if you sit there thinking about it, just sit still, don't move too much, and think, okay, all right, and then what happened, and who was there, and what did I say, and what was I wearing, and like what was unusual about the scene. And the more you spend time thinking about the dream, the more it kind of like crystallizes. I imagine it like, you remember on those old TVs, like pre the 90s, and that you had like a little a tuning button, and you're just like dialing the little tuning button and bringing the picture to make it clear. And that's what happens with the dream. So document your dreams as soon as you wake up. This is what I did for years and years. And a lot of those dreams, I have them on my laptop. A lot of those dreams documented me trying to start to ride motorcycles, exploring a new identity, starting up the business. I had a lot of fear around that. There was also a lot of dreams that featured my father, and that led to a lot of like healing all that trauma and all of that history. And these dreams were so vivid. It was a very vivid dream stage in my life. So keeping that dream journal was very interesting, and I'm so glad I did. Every now and then I'll like think of a dream and I'll go back and read it, and it's like astonishing how on point it was. But I didn't know it at the time, so it wasn't until I had this data, because I probably, I don't know, like 50 or 100 dreams to look back on and be like, oh, there's that person again, or like there's a theme here. Do a meta-analysis on your dreams, like, will blow your mind. But I extended this recently because I had probably within the last week, probably like 2 or 3 really vivid, not quite lucid, but like very vivid dreams that I haven't dreamt for so long, but it's just started to come back to me. And before I went to bed, I was like, I'm really interested to try a new technique. So as I was falling asleep, I asked myself a question. And you know, I can't even remember what the question was last night, but I asked a question, like, I don't even know what the question was, and I'm not even lying to you, but I kind of was like, is this done? You know, is this dead for realsies? Something along those lines. I cannot remember. I'm so sorry. It's a bit of a hole in the storyline. But I want to tell you the dream because it was crazy, right? So the first part of the dream came up for me clearly that like something's in this, whatever thing that I'm doing right now on YouTube, something's in it. Like, I don't know if it's the video. I don't know if it's the fact that it's so raw and unedited and just like, what? That it's going to hit a chord. But I got 3 things. So that was the thing. I was like, whatever I'm doing now, keep doing. The second thing was I had a lot of attachment and bad feelings about my mother moving overseas. I thought she did it because of me, but also that second point in this dream was that no, it was a self-imposed exile, so don't feel bad about it. And then the third point was I was broadcasting on the airwaves. And I have a podcast as well. So I was like, was it the podcast? I also do radio for a local station here. And I was like, is it the radio? So it felt more like a radio piece of the dream. But I have a podcast. So I'm like, I want it to be the podcast. but was it radio? Maybe there's a future for me in radio. But the point here is, as you're falling asleep and you want to know the answer to a question, ask your subconscious mind a specific question as you're falling asleep. I did not expect that immediate of a response, that clear of a response. And what happens when you're sleeping is like your brain is basically like that supercomputer that we never really give it credit for. You ask that question literally as you're falling asleep. Ask it telepathically in your head, just like say it a few times as you're like falling asleep, in between that wake and sleep period. And then the soonest time that you wake up will be when you get your answer. And then when you get your answer, document it like I described as soon as you wake up. And I'm sure you'll just have like a bolt of clarity like I did. And also like a what the fuck, that worked way better than I thought it was going to work. And those are my pieces. Just going really deep on like an intuitive level in the last couple of hours, thinking about killing things off and what happens, what beauty comes in the rebirth. And wherever you are, however you're feeling, whatever you're doing, I hope you're amazing, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.